These videos are made for the purpose of entertainment. These are not made to give you an excuse to harass the original creator. I do not condone the harassment or bullying of the creators featured in these videos.
On September 15th of 2022, the first episode of a brand new fanime, Eternal Powers, was posted on YouTube. It's about a group of teenagers getting magic powers from these magic watches so they can protect the world and the Crystal Heart from Queen Shira and her minions. The creator, Esther Herrera, was posting a new episode every Friday until season 1 was complete. I found Eternal Powers the very day episode 1 was posted, and I have kept up with the series since, out of sheer curiosity. And oh my god, do I have things to say. Hello everybody, my name is Yuji, and welcome back to another video! Today I'm going to be talking about a fanime I discovered a year ago now, Eternal Powers. Originally I was going to go over every single episode in one video, but I've changed my mind. I am not going to be doing that. Instead I'm going to be splitting this up into parts. One video for one episode, or maybe putting 2 episodes in one video. I haven't decided yet. I know this video is only going to have episode 1 because I go over a lot of things that just repeat in the episodes, like the transformation sequence, the intro, and the credits, so I don't have to talk about them again until the final video, going over basically everything one more time and how Esther can improve. It'll just be easier to do this way, and I get more content out of it. A win-win in my opinion. Something to mention before I start actually going through the series, Esther's English is not good. Everything the characters say makes damn near no sense. I definitely think Esther needs to take some time to learn how to structure sentences and how to speak the language better, or get someone who can speak the language fairly well to help fix the dialogue for the characters, because not being able to understand what they're trying to say a lot of the time drives me mad. How can I realistically enjoy the series if I don't understand what's going on half the time? I don't know about you guys, but when I don't understand what's going on in a series I'm watching or reading because of bad writing, I get upset. But enough of that, let's move on to actually looking at episode 1. So I guess I'll start this off by talking about the intro. I'm going to let it play for you guys so you could experience it before I say anything. It's not bad. All things considered, this is actually a pretty decent intro sequence for the series. I like the song that was chosen, and the intro isn't too long, it's just about 50 seconds. I do wish that for the villains there was more than just still images on the screen, and they had little animations for them as well, like the heroes did, but overall I'll give the intro like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not perfect, not the greatest thing in the world, but overall a pretty solid intro. So we start this episode off in what's supposed to be a mythical land. Hard to tell because it is a poorly drawn MS Paint background, serene piano music playing in the background, and we see the silhouette of a character who then walks towards a platform illuminated by a beam of light because this platform is important. We get an up-close view of it, and it's a very crude drawing of our solar system. And then we get this little twinkle sound effect, which is used a lot throughout this series. Esther, please use different sound effects. There are so many sound effects you could use. Please stop using this twinkling effect. You use it so much I hear it in my nightmares now. 6 watches appear in place of the solar system map, and those start to glow before we get this lovely piece of dialogue.
Magic hand watches, brought here from the solar system. 6 humans can designate themselves as heroes. Water, fire, earth, lightning, air and rainbow. Because I'm in danger, the land is in danger. The queen clamors for the crystal heart. I'm sending you to the ground, and I need your help.
Which, that sure is a sentence. Again, Esther's English isn't great, so be very prepared to not understand what's going on half the time. Oh yeah, and all of the characters also have text-to-speech voices, which honestly I think is a really good way to get past not having voice actors, and is something I might try out for one of my series. The problem with it is, there's not a lot of feeling behind what the characters say because it's just a text-to-speech bot. It can't emote like humans can. Yet, but that's why it's important to have good writing to make up for that. But anyways, this is actually one of the biggest problems with this series. Right here, it's said that this mysterious figure needs the help of 6 human heroes because she is in danger along with the world, right? Spoilers, obviously, but our 6 heroes, our main characters, are fucking useless. They don't actually do anything. Master Azula, the character we just got introduced to, is the one who actually defeats the villains in every episode. Our great heroes aren't actually heroes because they don't really fight the bad guys. They don't solve the problems themselves. They get their asses beat by the monster of the week. One of them uses their one attack because each character only has one attack, which we will get back to. They call Azula, we get exposition of them explaining what just happened, and then Azula uses the crystal heart to destroy the monster. I've just told you the basic plot for each episode. This series is so boring to watch. The only time anything different really happens with these fights is near the end of the series and in the Christmas special. Azula doesn't need help. She is very clearly capable of taking care of the issue herself. She didn't need these 6 children to be her warriors. It's actually so annoying that our main characters are as useless as they are. This would have been better if Azula was around their age and wasn't very good at using her powers yet, and she disguises herself on Earth as a normal human, gets attacked, and the Watches appear to our heroes, like the universe chose them because the Fairy Queen needs guards to help protect her or something. I don't know. I just don't see a reason for our 6 heroes to even exist if they do nothing to actually defeat the villains of the series. It's really annoying, actually, especially when they don't get better at fighting or using their powers. It's always the same. After seeing Azula and the Watches, we cut to Rosewington High School, which is where our main characters are introduced. We start off at an assembly with more dialogue that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Dear new learner, this year they graduated from the Rosewington Primary School from the 8th grade. Now you are in the 9th grade. You have started a new life with new friends and further good studies.
Which, pause. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what schooling system Esther is going for here. I have to assume she's going for the Hungarian schooling system because American primary school ends at 5th grade. We start middle school at 6th grade, and then high school is 9th through 12th. And then we move on to college for however many years we need to take that. Hey, can you please try to specify what country your characters live in, please? I thought they were all in America, but I guess that's what I get for assuming. But also, you can't totally fault me for not understand what's happening, considering, again, nothing these characters say makes any sense. The plot doesn't make any sense. This is my 8th or 9th time watching this series all the way through, and I still can't understand what's going on half of the time. Anyways, we then get introduced to the new teacher of the school. She's important for this episode and this episode only. Miss Flora Hamilton, who dresses a bit too inappropriately for a school teacher, but that's not super important. It's just a little weird. And after that quick introduction, we skip to the lunchroom and see this lunchman who looks like he's going to chop me up and serve me for lunch. Seriously, Why does he look like that? There is no soul behind those eyes. That man is a serial killer, and you can't convince me otherwise. But then we get to see our main characters! Yay! Sitting at a table talking. And then we get the most annoying character introductions to ever exist.
Mrs. Flora is pretty and elegant. The six of us are cool. If we're good with him, we'll be happy to introduce ourselves. I'm Sophie Henson, the perfect confectioner, and I share everything. I work with Olivia until the afternoon.
I'm Jack Thuron, the ultimate athlete. I play basketball all day.
I'm Ricky Williams. I like rock music and I'm just grumpy all day.
I'm Gregory Gibson, but I call him Greg. I'm a brilliant scientist. I look at the computer and make chemical objects.
I'm Vanessa Maria Garcia, but call him Vanessa. I have fun all day. They joke. I snore at night.
This snoring annoys me. I can't sleep at night because of snoring. It was enough to hear about my father's snoring, but they are happy that my parents are divorced.
I'm Mei Lu Qian. I just meditate all day, pray with fires. Zuu, my pet will be by my side.
That's not how people talk. And Ricky just randomly mentioning his parents are divorced is so weird. Also, I can't tell if these guys are lifelong friends or if this is their first time meeting each other, because they introduce themselves, but they act really close to each other, and I have to assume that Esther just didn't know how to introduce her characters, so she just made them info dump about themselves real quick, which just, again, isn't how people talk to each other. They sound ridiculous, and this isn't how you introduce characters to a story. You could have shown us these characters interacting with each other during the school assembly, because no one actually pays attention to those. They're boring and stupid half the time. So we get a better feel for who these characters are, and then throughout the series we can learn things about them, like how Sophie likes to bake, Vanessa is a dancer, Ricky's family issues. Don't just dump it all on us at the very start of the series. That's annoying. I want to learn about these characters as I watch. I don't want you telling me everything about them right off the bat. It suddenly cuts to another place. This one is dark and spooky, with a big dark spooky castle, which, by the way, we never actually learn where these places are. Are they on another planet? Another plane of existence? It never really explains where these are exactly. I have to assume another plane of existence because Azula is a fairy who lives in fairyland, and Shira is, I don't know what she is, a swamp hag? A witch? Don't know. Who is in the Kingdom of Darkness. But this is where we meet our first two villains, Queen Shira and Wave. Also, we see Shira's magic mirror, which is a pretty shitty magic mirror. I assume it's supposed to show her the crystal heart or people who have it, but spoilers, again, every person that the mirror shows her doesn't have a crystal heart. They have fake hearts. That's another thing. What even is the crystal heart? And why do humans have fake crystal hearts? It never explains what the crystal heart is, or what it does, or why it's so important. Why humans apparently can have them, because the mirror is pointing the villains in the direction of humans, but the only characters that have a crystal heart in this series is Master Azula, the fairy! And this mirror only shows Master Azula as someone who has a crystal heart at the very end of the series! There is no plot here! It's all just pointless crap that happens just because! There's no reason for any of this to be happening!
Magic mirror, see what the wish means the crystal heart. I am a 40-year-old teacher, wearing nice and well-kept clothes, the host of the Kingdom of Darkness. Wait, come here.
I'm here, Your Majesty. What should I do?
Take this woman's heart. I ordered her to find a crystal heart.
All right, how do I find it?
At school, go now, and get me a crystal heart.
I'll look for it. I'm gone now.
These are the first words we hear from the main villain, and compared to a lot of the dialogue, this makes at least a little bit of sense. I don't know what the wish means the crystal heart is supposed to mean. Oh my god, wait, hold on, I think I just figured it out. Magic mirror, I wish to see the crystal heart. That would at least make some sense. having epiphanies while writing my script, oh my god. The words are also really mixed up. I am a 40-year-old teacher were words used to describe a character she was looking at through a mirror. It should have just been a 40-year-old teacher wearing nice and well-kept clothes. Also, get rid of the line, the host of the kingdom of darkness, because it's not needed in this sentence at all. Unless you want to write it, I am the host of the kingdom of darkness, magic mirror, I wish to see the crystal heart. But even then, it feels weird to have that in the sentence. I think it can just be cut completely. So she orders Wave to go find her a crystal heart, right? And he asks where to find one, and she gives him such a vague description of what he's looking for. Where do I find it? At school. Okay, which school? Do you know how many schools are in the United States alone? 115,576 schools in the United States. This includes all K to 12 public and private schools, plus adult education and career/technical schools. You can't just say at school and expect a bitch to know what you're talking about. And if you Google how many schools there are in the world, we get a total of 5.5 million schools globally as of 2023. So again, you can't just give a vague answer like at school when there are so many different schools globally. This whole magic mirror plot device thing is stupid. For the record, I get it's supposed to show us who the villains are going to be attacking each episode, but it's useless. The magic mirror should be scrapped completely, and She-Ra should just send her minions to Earth to look for crystal hearts, and they keep coming back empty-handed. You could have this whole thing where on the news we learn that people are just dropping dead around the world, because that's kind of what happens when their hearts are taken, and no one really knows why and what's going on. This can be at the start of the episode, so we learn right off the bat that something isn't right. And we learn what this is later when our heroes get their magic watches and we see the villains for the first time. It's them searching for crystal hearts and finding fake ones and just not returning the hearts to the humans they took them from because they don't care. This gives our characters some real motivation and a real threat to deal with, and it's not completely stupid that our villains are just not finding crystal hearts, even though the mirror tells them this person will have a crystal heart. So we cut to the city and back to our heroes who've just gotten out of school and are hanging out, and then this happens out of nowhere!
The wristwatches were sent here by someone. It's Santa Claus. It's only autumn. How?
This is more of a children's watch, but I wear it.
I can't believe this. It can only be a magic watch.
Come with me, I need to talk.
It can only be a ghost.
What? There were so many better ways to write that. Main six are walking down the street. They just got out of school. They're talking. And as they're walking, May spots the watches just lying on the ground and points them out to the group. The group picks up the watches, pondering for a second, wondering if someone dropped them when the watches start to glow and they're magically transported to Master Azula. Also, why the hell does May automatically assume Santa Claus left the watches there? I don't understand how you wrote that out and thought it made sense. The next thing that happens doesn't make sense either?
It's a talking crystal that always communicates and brought us here.
Welcome to Fairyland. My name is Master Azula. I will be the helpers. My job is to protect our land.
A fairy. It does not exist in reality, only in a fairy tale.
But it is in reality. Their souls always long for the truth. Tell me your name.
Sophie asks where they are, as a sane person who just got teleported to a magical land would do, and Greg just automatically has answers. Like, I know he's supposed to be the smart character, but stop having your characters tell us everything, and there's no realistic way Greg would know what the hell is going on right now. Azula shows up and gives us another extra dump about who she is, and I get being in denial about what's happening, but Vanessa's dialogue is so stupid. A fairy, it does not exist in real life, only in a fairy tale. I'm gonna rewrite that real quick. A fairy? Fairyland? I thought fairies only existed in fairy tales. There's no way this is real. And then, of course, the horrible character introductions again. But these are even worse than the first ones we got.
I'm Vanessa, the entertaining.
I'm Ricky, the grumpy.
I'm Sophie, the sharing.
I'm Greg, the scientist.
I'm May, the meditation.
I'm Jack, the sporty.
I'm Vanessa the entertaining? I'm May the meditating? That's not how people introduce themselves. They should have just said their names. I'm Ricky Williams. I'm Sophie Henson. That's all these characters needed to say, nothing else. We continue with more explanation. Azula tells the main six that evil has arrived and Queen Shira took over an empty castle. I don't know what the significance this castle has, and we never learn why this castle is important. Hopefully we'll find out in season 2, but I doubt it. All we know is that the castle was destroyed in the 14th century, and the queen wants the crystal heart for power to destroy the world. Still don't know why any of this is important, but okay. Azula then tells them what watches they have and what powers it gives them, and then sends them back to Earth. Doesn't tell them how to activate their watches, doesn't teach them how to use their powers. Nothing, just, hey, you guys have magic powers now, so you have to fight bad guys. Good luck! But it's fine. Our main characters know how to use their watches and powers right away. Because, that's how that works. It's not like they just learned magic exists. No, they don't need guidance of any kind. They just know how all of this works. I assume it's the next day because we start off seeing the school once again. And here is where we get to see Wave take the teacher's heart.
I'm about to finish my studies.
I found you.
Who are you? How do you get here?
My name is Wave. I come from the Dark Kingdom. I wanted to take your heart.
My heart. Just don't do this.
We'll sleep, teacher.
Arr.
This is not the crystal heart. This is a fake heart I found.
He just kind of shows up. She asks who he is and how he got there. Who he is? A fantastic question. How he got there? Not so fantastic question. This is a public school. How the fuck do you think he got there? Not the point. He tells her who he is and why he's there. He says he's gonna take her heart, and she just stands there. She does plead for him to not take her heart, but that's about it. He takes her heart, and it's not the crystal heart. Who could have guessed? This still makes me question why humans have crystal hearts in the first place. But whatever, our heroes show up and we get our first look at their transformation sequence.
The power of water. Change.
The power of fire. Change.
The power of rainbow. Change.
The power of lightning. Change.
The power of wind. Change.
The power of earth. Change.
Okay, so I know transformation sequences are long, but this is ridiculous. And this transformation sequence is in every fucking episode. And can I just say, I hate it when shows do that. Showing every time the main characters transform is so annoying and just takes up time. You don't have to show it every time. The transformation sequence should be saved for the first time they do it and when a really big fight is about to happen. And I mean endgame fights, and that's it. Stop wasting so much time showing the transformation sequence. Jesus. Anyways, after each character transforms, it shows a couple seconds of them transform with the stupid twinkle sound effect, which cut that completely. Seriously, it would make this sequence shorter. It doesn't need to be over a minute long. That's insane. So we move on to our heroes confronting Wave with more dialogue that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
You stole the teacher's heart.
Who are you?
This punished us.
Warriors, I'm glad to meet you. My name is Wade. I'm an assistant of the Dark Kingdom. I work as Queen Shara. I wanted to show my help. I'm not sure if you can do it. Rihanna, come with me.
I'm here. Let's start learning.
Rihanna is already teaching you. More to come.
Wave introduces himself after being asked who he is. Cue another long expo dump. Not as bad as the others, but also, why is he giving all this information to the heroes? He explains he's an assistant to the Kingdom of Darkness and works as Queen Shira. Not for, as. And then he summons the first monster we see, and good God, that design is bad. That overly skimpy outfit and that weird-ass hair is just... I have no words other than I don't like it. At all. Each monster is supposed to kinda go with the theme of each episode and which civilian is attacked. So for this episode, we get a weird school teacher monster. In the next episode, we get a horse race car monster. And yes, it is as bad as it sounds. And so on and so forth. Side note, for the longest time, it didn't click that the villains were summoning the monsters. I thought the fake hearts manifested into monsters after being taken out of the people, because the hearts are only returned to the people after the monster is defeated. I hope you understand how I made that connection, because that's what I thought. But no, that's not the case at all. These characters could just summon monsters, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The main villains have powers similar to the hero counterparts. Wave has water powers, Flame has fire powers. Where do the monsters come from? I'm also confused, because there's not a whole lot of information about the world Shira, her minions, and Azula come from. We just know they exist. I just want more information, because I am intrigued. I see the potential this series has, it just needs a lot of fucking work. Anyways, after Wave summons the monster, Rihanna, he just dips. Just leaves and lets Rihanna take care of his problems for him. Which, cool. Okay. I would like this more if Shira's minions summoned the monsters as soon as the main characters showed up to try and stop them. Didn't do an introduction or anything, just summoned the monster and went on their way to kind of show that they don't see the humans as an actual threat. Just cannon fodder, basically. Worthless. These mighty warriors don't need to waste their time dealing with worthless humans when they could be searching for the crystal heart for their master. Summon a monster and have it deal with them. Shouldn't be a problem. And then it starts becoming a problem because the humans start to actually interfere with plans. Actively get in the way until they do have to deal with the humans themselves. I think that would be a great build-up for Shira's minions to actually start getting involved in the plot other than they appear, take a heart, and then leave. So while the heroes are contemplating what to do about the skimpy monster lady, Rihanna summons a giant book and hypnotizes them. All except Sophie, that is. She then yells at Ricky to stop being dumb and to do something before Sophie uses her powers to destroy the hypno book.
Open the lesson, read the task through.
This is crazy. I feel hypnotized even.
Ricky, don't play dumb. Do something. Rainbow ball, shiny away.
What happened? My book disappeared.
Which, I do not like the attack names. Rainbow Ball Shining Away, or Shine Away, I can't really understand what she's saying. The only one that sounds kinda cool is Ricky's, which is Earthquake Take Root. You know what, let me just play their attacks for you real quick so I don't have to do it later.
Water wave, slam into it.
Lightning strike. Cheat.
Fire ring. Set it on fire.
Windstorm, spin.
Earthquake, take root.
They're just such boring attack names. They need a bit more spark put into them. If this was a comedy series where the characters were super overpowered and just didn't care about their attack names, like Saitama from One Punch Man, these would still not be great, but it would be far more acceptable for the names to be so lackluster. I'm gonna rattle off some attack names for the characters used that don't sound horribly boring. And I'm naming more than one because those are the only attacks they use. Can you give us some variety, please? For water, you could have Tidal Wave, Water Strike, Deep Sea Pressure, Tsunami. For fire, you could have Hellfire, Flame Burst, Fireball. You could have used Fireball, for God's sake. For wind, Twister, Wind Blast, Whirlwind, Razor Wind. For earth, Earthquake by itself is fine. Landslide, Quicksand, and if you have him also use more plant-based attacks, Vine Whip or Thorn Strike. For lightning, Thunderbolt, Static Electricity, Thunderstorm. For rainbow, Rainbow Blast, Rainbow Ribbon, Rainbow Bloom. You could even have the characters do joint attacks and give those special attack names. Like for wind and fire, it could be Flame Twister. For earth and water, it could be Mudslide. For rainbow and lightning, it could be Hyper Beam. There are so many options, but no, you give us one attack for each character and that's it. After Sophie destroys the monster's book, Jack summons Azula and we get this scene. Vanessa expo dumping to Azula, then Azula using her Magic Titty crystal powers to banish the monster. No, I'm not joking.
What happened?
A teacher was transformed into a monster. Then she read a book to us. Then we exchanged hypnosis. And then Sophie successfully created the power.
Okay, I'll take care of it. Crystal heart, shine away.
Do you see now why I say the heroes are useless? You think their incompetence would only last a few episodes because they're just learning how to use their powers. They don't know what they're doing. But no! Imagine what you just saw, but change who uses their power, the expo dump, and the monster. And that is the end of each episode. Every single one, including the final fight with the big bad. Azula is still the one who defeats She-Ra. The heroes do nothing. The only episode that is slightly different, only slightly, is the Christmas special, a non-canon episode. I am going to lose it. We're at the end of the episode. The monster has been destroyed and the fake heart is returned to the teacher. It just kind of floats down to her. Which, by the way, if the hearts aren't what make the monsters, where do they go? We don't see what happens to the hearts in between them being taken in the monster fight. They just kind of reappear randomly, which is why the heart should be used to make the monsters. And maybe that's how Azula can be involved. She has the only crystal heart from what we know, and she can use her heart after the heroes incapacitate the monster to purify the heart and return it to the person it was stolen from. Azula is still involved, but our heroes aren't completely useless. Anyways, the teacher wakes up and says the weirdest shit.
What happened? Like going to cemetery school.
Teacher, you just had a bad dream.
I know, Ricky, a bad dream is like that. Whatever, come on.
Ricky tells her she just had a bad dream, as if that's going to make her feel better. She's lying on the ground in the middle of a school hallway. If I was her, I would still be so concerned. Did I pass out? Did I hit my head? Like, yeah, she did just basically die and get brought back to life, so I imagine she's disoriented as hell. But come on! Come up with a better excuse than it was just a bad dream. when y'all are still in your hero suits and Azula is right there. This is always what they tell the victims, by the way. Oh, it was just a bad dream, don't worry. As if that explains everything. Even though everyone always wakes up in the weirdest fucking places. And they were perfectly aware when this random person showed up and literally took their heart. I know the "it was just a dream" excuse is used in a lot of actual shows, but this still irritates me either way. It's a bad explanation. Learn how to lie better, ya hooligans. Anyways, Azula fucks off back to Fairyland, and the rest of the episode is irrelevant. Is what I would say if I didn't spot this girl in the upper left-hand corner at the end of the episode. Are you fucking serious right now? How did I never see her? That is so clearly a racist depiction of a Chinese girl. I thought this series started being super racist at episode 4, but I guess I was wrong. Esther was just more subtle about it in earlier episodes. This makes me scared for what I might notice in later episodes now that I'm hyper-analyzing them for these videos. Then the credits roll, which, let me just say, this music by Eternal Power site bit in the credits is so funny considering, no it's fucking not. This is another problem Esther has. She'll take music from other creators, use it in her series, and just not give credit for them at all. In one episode, she takes a song from the band Coded and distorts it so heavily that not even those apps you use to find songs could figure out what song it was and who it was by, just so she wouldn't get copyrighted. One of my friends, Thor, was the one who ended up finding the original song. It's Moments of Madness by Coded. Go give it a listen, it's a good song. But Esther, copyright-free songs exist for a reason. Use them and follow their terms of use. Stop taking songs from bands, using them in your shit, and claiming you made them. Oh lord, I have a headache. Now I need coffee. But that is it for episode 1 of Eternal Powers. If you thought this was bad, it just gets worse from here. I promise. Sorry if this video was a jumbled mess. The last time I made a video covering a series was my Mari Mari Cutie video, and that was years ago now, so I'm rusty and I have no clue what I'm doing. I hope you enjoyed me losing my cool over this series, and you can look forward to more. While this series does irritate the absolute hell out of me, I am intrigued to see where it goes in season 2. Because it is in production at the moment, and I will 100% be making videos on those episodes when they're out. If she just took the time to fix the problems that are in her stories, the racism, the sexualization of 16-year-olds, the poor writing, I think she could make some pretty interesting stuff. Fixing the art mistakes can come last. It's not as important as the writing itself. I can ignore less than perfect artwork if the story is good. But that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna go take a nap. This was exhausting.